If you were born between 1961 and 1990 and always felt like you didn't belong, it's not random. It's a sign of a mission. There is a truth that has been kept from you throughout your entire life. A truth about who you really are and why you have always felt that you had something greater to do in this world. So if you were born between 1961 and 1990, you need to listen to this carefully. You did not arrive here by accident. You chose to be born exactly during this period because your soul knew something monumental was happening on planet Earth. And I am going to show you why. Between 1961 and 1990, the universe opened a cosmic window that had not occurred for millennia. Spiritual astrologers call this a dimensional portal. Quantum scientists talk about rare energetic alignments. But what really matters is this. During those 29 years, the Earth's vibrational frequency changed, and specific souls were called to incarnate exactly at that moment. You are not new here. You are extremely ancient. There is a secret that spiritual teachers have guarded for centuries. Not all souls are the same age. Some are young, experiencing physical life for their first or second time. Others are incredibly ancient, having gone through hundreds, perhaps even thousands of incarnations. And you belong to that second group if you were born between 1961 and 1990. Your soul has been here before, many times before. And I'm not talking about ordinary lives. I'm talking about incarnations at crucial moments in human history, moments of great construction and moments of great collapse, moments that define the course of civilization. You were once a priest in an ancient temple. You were once a leader in society, teaching the spiritual ways that you had mastered, the knowledge that we now call impossible. You were once a guardian of wisdoms that were deliberately erased from the history books. Your soul carries memories of Atlantis, Lemuria, ancient Greece and Egypt, of Sumerians and Mayan civilizations that existed even before historians can admit. And I know what you're thinking, because how can you be sure of this? But the answer lies in your own life experience. I'll give you some clear signs. First, you have always had an inexplicable fascination with ancient cultures. When you see pyramids, ancient temples, or esoteric symbols, something inside you stirs and lights up. It's not just academic interest, it's recognition. It's like looking at an old photograph. It's familiar. Seeing a place where you have already been, even if your logical mind says that this is impossible. Second, you learn certain things at an abnormal speed. It could be energy healing, it could be astrology, it could be deep meditation, it could be understanding sacred symbols. You are not learning, you are remembering. That's why it feels so familiar and easy. That's why you feel like you already knew. You just forgot that you knew. And third, you have recurring dreams. Dreams about places that no longer exist. Submerged temples, crystal cities, lush landscapes that don't correspond to any place in the present time. And these are not ordinary dreams. They are fragmented memories leaking through the dimensional veil that separates your past from your present of lifetimes. And that veil is beginning to really thin. Here's a fourth one. You feel a deep sadness without any apparent reason when you think about lost knowledge, lost continents, lost civilizations. There's a real pain inside of you, a real mourning, like you know what it felt like. The sadness that you feel when you remember that libraries were burned and temples were destroyed and wisdom was erased. That pain, it's personal because you were there. I remember you, and you remember. You saw it happen on a deep level of your soul, and you still carry that grief of that loss. Since childhood, you knew. You didn't need anyone to tell you. You just knew you were different. It was a silent and persistent awareness that you simply didn't fit into this world the same way that other people do. While your schoolmates were worried about superficial things, you were asking deep questions, questions that made adults uncomfortable. Why are we here? What happens after we die? Why do people do bad things? Where does the universe come from? Your parents didn't know how to answer. Your teachers would change the subject. Your church leaders would tell you to just have faith. And you grew up understanding that questions were not welcome. So you learned to stay quiet. You learned to pretend you were like everyone else. You learned to wear a social mask to hide and protect yourself. But inside, you had that feeling of not belonging that only grew stronger. And the more you tried to fit in, the more distant you felt. Let me tell you what was really happening. You were operating on a totally different frequency. Literally, your energetic vibration, your signature, was higher than most people around you. And when you're vibrating on one frequency and everyone else is on another, It's like a radio tuned to a station that no one else can hear. It explains so many things from your childhood, adolescence, and even in your young adult life. It explains why you felt exhausted after spending time in large groups of people. It explains why you preferred solitude over the chaos of parties and social events. It explains why you always had very few friends, but the friends you did have were deep and intense connections. You weren't shy. You weren't antisocial. You simply couldn't tolerate superficial conversations or empty interaction. When people talked about gossip, about consumerism, social competition, something inside of you would shut off. You pretended to be interested in education, but your soul was screaming, "This doesn't matter and it's wrong. There are far greater things happening that we should focus our attention on." And you were right. While everyone else was being programmed to fit into the system, to follow the rules without question, to accept official narratives about everything, you had an internal lie detector that you couldn't shut off. You noticed inconsistencies. You saw through social masks. You could feel when someone was being fake, even if they were saying the right words with a pretty smile on their face. That sensitivity is a gift. But when you were young, perhaps even now, it feels like a curse because it made everything harder. You couldn't just accept what you were told and move on. You needed to question. You needed to understand. You needed to go deeper. At school, you probably had problems, not because you were dumb. Quite the opposite. You were overly intelligent, too intelligent for this rigid and outdated educational system. You learned differently. You thought in a non-linear way. You saw connections that the teachers didn't see. And when you tried to share those insights, you were silenced, corrected, even ridiculed. So you began to believe that something was wrong with you. Maybe you were inadequate. Maybe you were the problem. You internalized that message and you carried it for years, maybe even to this very day, which is why I wanted to reach you with this message, because I want you to know the truth that nobody ever told you. There was never anything wrong with you. The problem was never you. The problem was that you were a high frequency soul trying to exist in a low frequency system. It was like putting a Formula One car on a dirt road that's full of potholes. The car isn't broken. The road is inadequate. You felt different because you are different. And that difference, it's not a flaw. It's exactly what qualifies you for this mission that you came here to fulfill. Let's talk about some specific experiences that likely mark you. You had moments in childhood where you saw or felt things you couldn't explain. Maybe you saw strange lights. Maybe you felt a presence in your room at night. Maybe you had out of body experiences before even knowing what that was. Maybe you saw the future in dreams, and then it would happen exactly as you saw it in the dream. And when you told adults, they dismissed you. Call it childhood imagination. They said you were making things up, that it was just a dream and it wasn't real. So you learned not to share those experiences anymore. You learned to doubt your own perception and psychic ability. You learned to shut down your natural, divine, God-given gifts so that you could be accepted. But to be accepted was traumatic. And I need you to understand this. It was traumatic because you were forced to deny your true nature. To survive socially, it was like cutting off your wings to fit inside the box. But beautiful souls, your wings never completely disappeared. They stayed folded and hidden, waiting for the right moment to open again. And as you grew up, the feeling of being different manifested in other ways. You looked at life that everyone else expected and felt a deep emptiness. College, traditional jobs, conventional marriages, the house, the car, the retirement. That assembly line of existence, it's always felt like a prison. It felt like a death sentence for life. And you wanted more. You wanted meaning and purpose. You wanted to live in a way that truly matters. And everyone thought you were being immature, idealistic, or maybe even irresponsible for thinking that way. But you weren't. You were listening to the call of your soul. Your soul knew that you didn't come here to live a mediocre life. You came for something great. And that feeling of being different, it also showed up in your relationships. You had a hard time connecting romantically with people that didn't understand your depth. Superficial conversations. They suffocate you. The lack of spiritual interest frustrates you. You needed and still need someone who can be as complex and multidimensional as you. And those relationships, they are rare, very rare. So you likely spent long periods of time alone because you couldn't find anyone who matches your frequency. And perhaps even at some point, you started to wonder if you'd be alone forever. But I want you to know you are not alone. There are millions of people like you, millions born during this same cosmic window, millions who feel exactly what you feel, millions who carry the same sense of not belonging. You are all scattered around the world, but you're connected by an invisible network of shared consciousness. And as the global awakening intensifies, you are finding each other through the internet through synchronicities, through encounters that feel destined. Your tribe is coming together. And when you finally meet someone who truly understands you and who speaks your spiritual language, who sees the world through the same eyes as you, something inside you heals because you realize it wasn't you. It was never you. And you were right all along. The world was gaslighting you. The world was trying to convince you that your perception is wrong. You have abilities that most people consider absolutely impossible. I'm talking about real, measurable capacities that you've experienced countless times, but might have dismissed as coincidence. How many times have you thought about someone and within minutes that person called you or messaged you? How many times have you felt something was going to happen and it happened exactly as you felt it would? How many times have you walked into a place and immediately felt you needed to turn around and leave, and then later found out that something was wrong there? Perhaps something bad happened. How many times have you met someone and instantly you knew whether or not you could trust them? And that is not coincidence. That is intuition operating on levels that conventional science is only now beginning to understand. And you have been born. And you having been born between 1961 and 1990 came equipped with these gifts already at an amplified level. Let's start with clairvoyance. Clairvoyance means clear seeing. It's the ability to receive visual information that's beyond the normal spectrum of perception. And you have this. Maybe you don't see colorful auras around people, at least not yet, but you see other things. You see patterns. You see through people. And you look at someone and know that they're lying. You know when they're hiding something or when they're afraid. Even if they're smiling, you see the energy behind the words. And that gives you a huge advantage. But it also can leave you feeling exhausted because you can't turn that perception off. Then there's clairaudience, clear hearing. You hear things that others don't. I'm not talking about literal voices, although some people do experience that. I'm talking about that inner voice that guides you, that subtle whisper that tells you, don't do this or go this way. That inner guidance that shows up at the most important moments. Have you ever ignored that voice and regretted it later? Because it was right. It's always right. That voice is not imagination. It is your higher self communicating with you. It's your connection to the higher dimensions of consciousness. It's information. It's coming straight from a source that has a much broader view of the situation than your logical mind. Now, clairsentience is probably your strongest gift. Clear knowing. It's when you simply know something. You know, the one I spoke of earlier. When you know, but you don't know how you know. You didn't study it. You didn't read about it. You didn't hear about it somewhere. You just know. And when someone asks how you know, you say, I don't know. I just know. This happens because you are accessing that quantum field. Everything that has ever been thought, everything that has ever been felt, experienced, or created, it exists in that energetic field around our planet. Some people call it the Akashic Records. Some call it the motherboard. Others call it collective consciousness. The name doesn't matter. What matters is that you have a natural access to this field. That's why you sometimes know things about people that you've just met. That's why sometimes you can solve problems in very creative ways that no one has ever thought of before. Not because you're being a genius, but because you're receiving an information download. You're tapping into the collective consciousness database. Now, let's talk about empathy. I'm talking about feeling other people's emotions as if they were your own. You know, walking into a room and instantly absorbing the entire emotional state of the environment you just walked into. This is a gift, but it can also feel like a really heavy burden because you carry other people's pain, confusion, sadness, loss. And without realizing it, you'll go talk to someone who is sad. And you leave the conversation feeling depressed because you absorbed their energy. Or perhaps for no reason when you watch the news and you feel the collective pain of the world as if it were your own. Maybe you go to a mall or a grocery store and you come out feeling energetically devastated. It's because you've absorbed the anxiety of hundreds of people. It's important you learn how to shield and block so that you can be in public without being the sponge. And I can teach you that. But for years, you probably thought you were weak or too sensitive, that you needed to toughen up. But that's not it. You are not weak. You are porous, like a sponge. Your energetic boundaries are naturally more permeable because you came here to feel, to understand, to connect deeply with the human experience. The problem is that no one taught you energetic protection. No one taught you how to distinguish between your emotions and the emotions of others, or how to cleanse your energy after heavy interaction. So you went through life like an emotional sponge, absorbing everything without knowing how to release it or deflect it. But this gift of empathy, when it's properly utilized and managed, makes you a natural healer. You have the ability to make people feel seen, heard, understood in a way that very few can. You have the ability to hold emotional space for anyone that is suffering. You have the ability to transmit love and compassion in a way that transforms lives. Dreams for you are another portal to your psychic gifts. You don't have normal dreams. You have lucid dreams, prophetic dreams, dreams where you travel to other dimensions. Sometimes you wake up more tired than you were when you went to sleep because you spent the entire night working on other planes of existence. Some of your dreams are premonitory. You dream about something and, days, weeks, months later, It happens. Some of your dreams are astral visits. You meet people who are physically distant, or even people who have already died. Some of your dreams are memories of past lives that leak through the veil. And you probably dismissed all of this as just a dream, because that's what the programming teaches you. But it's not. Your dreams are a direct line of communication with non physical realms and non physical beings. They are messages, they are warnings. Synchronicities happen to you all the time. Repeating numbers, you look at the clock and it's always 11:11 or 2:22. You think of a song and then you hear it play on the radio. You need an answer and a stranger on the street says exactly what you needed to hear. You're thinking about changing careers and you receive an unexpected offer. These are not coincidences. The universe is constantly sending you signs and listening for what you truly want. We are co creators. We create our reality, whether we realize it or not. But we get validations, confirmations. They're showing you that you're on the right path or redirecting you when you're drifting off course. But you only notice these signs if you're paying attention. And back to these healing abilities. Maybe you haven't consciously developed them yet. But people genuinely feel better in your presence. They seek you out when they're not well. They open up to you in ways that they don't with anyone else. They tell you that talking to you made them feel so much better. And you didn't even do anything specific. This happens because of your energy. It has a natural healing quality. Your frequency is harmonizing with someone who is out of balance. When they enter your energetic field, they automatically begin to realign. You are a walking, living, breathing spiritual tuning fork. You help people return to their natural frequency without even trying. Most of you were taught to distrust these gifts, though. You were taught that this is from the devil, or that it's dangerous, that it's madness. So you spent your entire life trying to suppress exactly what your greatest strengths are. And the more you suppressed it, the more chaotic your life became, because you're fighting against your own nature. It's like a bird that was convinced that it shouldn't fly. It can spend its entire life walking on the ground, but it will always feel that something is missing. Your psychic gifts are not optional. They are part of who you are, and they won't disappear just because you ignore them. In fact, when you try to suppress them, they manifest in uncontrolled ways. Unexplained anxiety, panic attacks, insomnia, chronic exhaustion, emotional overload. All of this happens because you are trying to contain an energy that needs to flow. It's like blocking a river. The water will find a way out, even if it means overflowing the banks and causing destruction. The solution is not suppression. The solution is learning to work consciously with these gifts. It's learning to control them instead of being controlled by them. It's understanding that you have more sophisticated psychic equipment than most people, and that this equipment needs maintenance, it needs protection, and it needs intentional development. And the more you accept and develop these gifts, the more powerful you become. So please visit my website, sign up for an activation or some workshops, courses, study under me, and learn how to fast track your ability to use your abilities. You have it within you. And I know exactly the formula that allows you to reach in there and get it and use it in a very quick and understanding kind of way. Not through difficult training, not through years of training. An easy way to truly understand who you are and use it. Let's reprogram your mind and align your energy so that you can begin to co-create a new reality. The success stories that I've received are truly inspiring. And the next transformation story could very well be yours. So please look in the description box and click the link. If the mission were easy, you wouldn't need to be here. Any soul could simply descend to do the work and go back up. But that's not how it works. You came with heavy baggage. You came with specific challenges that were carefully chosen before your birth. And these challenges, they weren't punishment. They were training that I can help you to understand and navigate through much easier. Karma is not about divine punishment. Karma is about balance. It's about completing cycles. It's about learning lessons that we left unfinished from other lives. And you, being an ancient soul, you carry karma from multiple incarnations. Some of these wounds are thousands of years old. Let's start with the most common challenge, and which is the struggle with materialistic things. You live in a world that values money above all else, a world where your worth is measured by your bank account, your house, your car, a world that forces you to sell your time, your energy, your life in exchange for survival. You hate this. You know it's wrong. Every fiber of your being. You can't motivate yourself to work 8-hour days at something that has no meaning. You can't fake enthusiasm for empty corporate goals. You can't sacrifice your mental and spiritual health in the name of a financial success. But at the same time, you need to pay the bills. You need to eat. You need a place to live. So it feels like a trap between your need for physical survival and your need for spiritual integrity. And this tension destroys you from the inside out. But this challenge, it's not accidental. You came to resolve the question of spiritual abundance versus materialism. You came to learn how to prosper financially without selling your soul. You came to prove that it is possible to live aligned with your purpose and have material security. You came to break the old patterns that say spirituality and money don't mix. But to do that, you first need to heal your relationship with money. You need to understand that money is just energy. It's not good or bad. It's a tool like anything else. And you can use this tool to amplify your mission of light. And you can keep believing that money is dirty and stay in financial struggle. Another huge challenge, technology. You were born in an era of technological explosion. You saw the world shift from analog to digital. You saw the internet connect the planet. You saw smartphones put all of human knowledge into the palm of your hand. And at the same time, you saw this very same technology being used for control, manipulation, addiction, and worst of all, human disconnection. So this puts you in a dilemma because you recognize the potential of technology. We could use it for good. You see that it can spread information, connect people, give knowledge, but you also see the dark side. Social media draining people's souls, fake news manipulating minds, keyboard warriors being bullies more than having a cause to fight for, constant surveillance, the replacement of real connection with superficial virtual interaction. You came to learn how to walk that line. You came to use technology consciously. You came to teach others to do the same. Because technology isn't going away, it's only going to increase and intensify. And someone needs to ensure that it serves human evolution, not degradation. Loneliness. Loneliness is another brutal challenge. You've spent a large part of your life feeling deeply alone, even if you're surrounded by people, even in relationships, because no one truly understood you. No one saw your depth. No one could go to the dark and luminous places of your soul. They were fearful. So that loneliness, it created wounds of rejection, of abandonment, of not being seen for who you really are. And those wounds made you build walls, made you distrust people, made you believe that maybe you're destined to just be alone. You also came to face your own addictions and self destructive potentials. Maybe it's alcohol, maybe it's food, maybe it's toxic relationships, maybe it's just procrastination, maybe it's self sabotage or gambling. Everyone has their particular poison. And these patterns, they're not character flaws, they're survival mechanisms. You develop them to cope with pain that feels unbearable. They're always there to numb you or to help you escape, to not feel, but they also keep you stuck. They keep you small, keep you from accessing your full power. The depression, anxiety that so many of you face is also a part of that challenge. It's not just chemical imbalances, although brain chemistry is involved, but they are symptoms of a soul that's trying to exist in a world that wasn't made for you. They are the pressure of carrying so much light on a planet that is so incredibly dense. And you came to learn how to manage your extreme sensitivities, to learn how to protect your energy, how to create healthy boundaries, understanding that you can care deeply about the suffering of the world, without carrying all of that suffering on your shoulders. And all of these challenges have something in common that force you to choose between fear and love, between limitation and expansion, between living small or living large, between denying who you are or fully embracing your truth. And those choices are never easy because the path of fear, limitation, denial, it's a familiar one. It's the path that all of society approves of. It's the path where you fit in. But your soul's path is the unknown path. It's the path that very few can validate other than you. It's the path that you have to walk, sometimes alone, at least at first, until you find your tribe. The challenges that you face are opportunities for accelerated growth. They are portals of transformation. They are exactly what you need to become who you came here to be. And every time you face one of these challenges, every time you choose the path of courage over fear, you're not just healing yourself, you're healing the entire lineage of your past lives. You're breaking patterns that have existed for millennia. You're already awakening. It's not something that happens in the future. It's happening now. And if you're hearing this and you're really paying attention and you're feeling something resonate within you, then the process is already well underway. You didn't find my content by accident. You were guided here because your soul is ready for the next phase. Spiritual awakening is not a one-time event. It's not like waking up in the morning after a night's sleep and suddenly you've graduated. It's a layered process. It happens in waves, sometimes subtle, other times very noticeable, intense, perhaps even devastating. But there are always clear signs that it's happening. The first sign is probably intense questioning. You started to question everything, absolutely everything. The beliefs you were taught in childhood, society's rules, the purpose of your life, the nature of reality, the existence of God, the meaning of death, why we're here, where we're going. And these questions, they're not abstract. They're not just philosophical musing. They are urgent. They keep you awake at night. They consume you. You can no longer accept ready-made answers. You can no longer swallow what you're told without chewing it first. You need to know the truth, even if that truth is uncomfortable. And this questioning is the first real stage of awakening. It's your soul shaking you out of your long slumber. It's your consciousness expanding beyond the limits that they were imposed on. And yes, it's unsettling because everything you thought you knew is being dismantled. The second sign is synchronization, happening all the time around you. Repeating numbers are everywhere. You think of someone and that person appears. You need a piece of information and it arrives in unexpected ways. You ask the universe a question and you receive a clear answer. through a song, through a conversation, maybe even a conversation you overheard by chance. It could be from a billboard that's on the street or in a TV show that you're watching. These synchronicities are not your imagination. They are the universe communicating with you. It's as if you've learned to level up in consciousness and now can see the web of connections that are everywhere. And they've always been there. And it's okay if you didn't notice them before. You're beginning to see the bigger picture now. The intelligence that's behind everything. Now the third sign. The third sign is a change in your physical energy. You're more tired than ever. Or you have bursts of energy that can't be explained. Your sleep patterns have completely changed. You wake up at the same time in the middle of the night, usually between 2 and 4 a.m. Or you don't go to sleep at all until after 4 a.m., if you can help it. You have waves of heat or cold come over your body for no apparent reason. Maybe even your appetite has changed. Your body is asking for different things. And this is happening because your physical body is going through a recalibration. Your vibrational frequency is rising. And when the frequency rises, the body needs to adjust. It's literally an upgrade of your biological hardware to move more light. And that upgrade can be uncomfortable. You're also developing new sensitivities. Foods that you've always eaten may make you feel sick. Alcohol hits you much harder. Caffeine makes you anxious, maybe. Perhaps red meat makes you feel too heavy. Your body is asking for lighter, healthier foods. Things that are more alive, more full of vital energy. It's rejecting everything that is dense, toxic, and low vibration. The fourth sign is the sudden distancing from old relationships. Friendships that lasted for years suddenly don't make sense to you anymore. You look at people who were once very important to you and you realize you are no longer really feeling like anything you have in common. Conversations are shallow. The values are different. The energy is heavy. And you start to distance yourself. Sometimes gradually, sometimes abruptly. And it hurts because you don't want to hurt anyone. You don't want to be seen as arrogant or superior. But you just simply can't pretend anymore. You can't force connections that no longer exist. You can't be nice to people who don't give you the same. And this isn't cruelty. It isn't ego. It's alignment. It's being true to yourself. It's about real self-love. You're vibrating on a different frequency now. And naturally, you're going to attract people who vibrate at that same frequency, while those who don't begin to fall away. It's spiritual physics. It's not personal. The fifth sign that you've likely noticed is this pull toward esoteric knowledge. It suddenly consumes you. These are the subjects that you become interested in. Perhaps you were never interested in astrology or numerology or the Akashic records before, or ancient knowledge. sacred geometry, or ancient cultures and civilizations, quantum physics, meditation, channeling, shamanism. You're consuming this knowledge with a ravenous hunger now, watching videos, reading books, taking courses. All of it makes sense in a deep way. And it makes so much sense because it's as if you're just remembering, because that's exactly what's happening. You're accessing past life memory. You are remembering. You had this knowledge, and now you are unlocking this wisdom that you've had stored within you. It's been waiting for the right moment to emerge. It's amazing. It's wonderful. Now, the sixth sign I want to talk about. Direct spiritual experiences. This is a good one. You're having experiences that you can't explain rationally. Maybe you saw a bright light during meditation. Maybe you felt a loving presence beside you when you were supposed to be alone. Maybe you had a vision that later came true. Maybe you heard an inner voice guiding you. These experiences are terrifying and wonderful all at the same time sometimes, because they prove to you that there is so much more than this physical world. They completely shatter your materialistic view of reality that was programmed into your mind. And once you have an experience like that, you're just never the same again. You never want to go back to that state of ignorance. And the seventh sign. Seventh sign is the need for solitude. You need to be alone much more than you used to. Not because you're depressed or antisocial, but because you need to process everything. All these things that are happening to you. You need silence to hear your inner voice. You need space to integrate. The transformations that you're going through, you've started to love your own company. And that's a beautiful thing. You've begun to value silence in a deeper, grateful way. Your quietness is so much more valuable than empty conversation. You'd rather spend a night alone reading a spiritual book or watching a spiritual video than to go to a loud, obnoxious party with people that don't even understand you. And it's not unhealthy isolation. It's a sacred retreat, and you should honor it as such. It's you creating the space that's needed for your transformation to happen. It's protecting your energy from external influences. They could slow down your process. The eighth sign is a change in value. Things that once mattered to you now seem irrelevant. Social status doesn't matter anymore. Impressing people doesn't matter anymore. Accumulating material goods doesn't matter anymore. Competing with others doesn't matter anymore. What matters now is authenticity, genuine connection, personal growth, meaningful contribution. You're measuring success completely differently now, not by how much you have, but by how much you've evolved. Not by how much you've achieved externally, but by how much you've transformed internally. And it's a beautiful thing to be honored. And that's a good kind of proud. That's a good kind of ego. Now, the ninth sign, that's intense and vivid dreams. Your dreams have completely changed. They're more colorful, more realistic, more symbolic. You wake up and you remember the details. And these dreams, they carry clear messages or warnings, guidance, healing, encounters with spiritual beings or spiritual guides. And you've started to realize that your spiritual work doesn't stop when you go to sleep. You continue working in other dimensions. During the night, you're receiving teachings, training, processing trauma, visiting places that are in other planes of existence. You're learning, you're working, you're being shown in your dream state what would be expected in the waking one very soon. And the 10th sign is that sense of urgency. You feel that time is speeding up, that there's no time to waste, that you need to move quickly toward your purpose. You feel that internal pressure, not stressful, but persistent, pushing you forward. That urgency is real because we are at a crucial moment. The planetary transformation window doesn't stay open forever, and your soul knows that. That's why it's pushing you, nudging you, reminding you it's now, not a year from now, not when you feel ready, now. The 11th sign is the need for radical authenticity. You can no longer lie, not even small social lies. You can no longer pretend that you're okay when you're not. You can't agree with things that you actually disagree with, even if it's to just avoid conflict. You can't wear masks anymore. You are truly living your authentic self. And this need for authenticity, it's cost you some relationships. Maybe even it cost you opportunities. It might make you seem difficult or inflexible, but you have no choice because living in a lie, even a comfortable one, literally is killing you inside. So I want you to be proud of that as well. Be your authentic self. And the last sign is perhaps the most important. You feel a calling that you can't quite describe what it is, but you know there is something that you need to do, a mission that you are to fulfill, a work that only you can do. And this calling is getting louder, clearer, impossible to ignore. And even if you don't yet know exactly how to answer it, you know you can't pretend it doesn't exist anymore. If you recognize most of these signs in yourself, then there's no doubt your awakening has already begun. You're already on the path, and there's no going back, no matter how scary it is sometimes, no matter how uncomfortable it gets. You cannot go back to sleep. Now we get to do the practical part. You already know who you are. You know why you're here. You've recognized the signs of your awakening. But knowing isn't enough. You need to activate. You need to embody it. You need to turn knowledge into lived power. That's where I come in. And when I say power, I'm not talking about power over others. I'm talking about the real power to create your reality, the power to manifest your mission, the power to live completely aligned with who you really are. That power has always been inside of you, but it was dormant. And now it's time to fully awaken it. The first key to activating your spiritual power is presence, total presence. Be present in the present moment because all your power exists only now, not in the past, not in the future. It only exists in the now. You spend most of your time mentally absent, thinking about what happened yesterday, worrying about what might happen tomorrow, planning, ruminating, fantasizing. And while your mind is in all of those places, your power is scattered, fragmented, ineffective. When you bring your awareness fully into the now, when you anchor yourself completely in the present moment, something magical happens. You access a state of concentrated power. It's like taking diffused light and focusing it through a lens. Diffused light is weak, but focused light can cut through metal. Meditation is a powerful tool to help you to develop presence. And it doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be for hours a day. Start with 5 minutes. Sit, breathe, observe your breath. When your mind wanders, think about the breath again. And it will gently bring your attention back to the breath. Do this every day, no exceptions. Because consistency is more important than intensity. 5 minutes every day has more impact than doing an hour's worth once a week. You're training your mind, and training requires repetition. And I can help you to learn how to still your mind and be present if you need that help. Now, the second key is energetic cleansing. You can't operate at maximum power if your energetic field is dirty. And it is. You absorb negative energy every day from people, places, and things, even if you're just on the internet staying at home. From environments to the news, from your own dense emotions. You need to cleanse this regularly. And there are simple ways to do it. You can take a coarse salt bath. That's a great, effective way. Just put the salt in your bath water. If you don't have a bathtub, Rub coarse salt on your body while you're taking a shower. Salt absorbs and neutralizes dense energy. Smudging also works. White sage, Palo Santo, rosemary. Light it and let it burn a bit. Blow out the flame and let the smoke surround your body. If you have a feather, fan it toward you. Visualize the smoke carrying all of that energy away that isn't yours or that is icky. And spending time in nature, that's an automatic cleansing. The earth naturally absorbs dense energy. Walk barefoot on the grass. Go hug a tree. And yes, I know that sounds crazy, but trees are extremely wise beings and they will instantly transmute the negative energy for you. Put your feet in the sand or the mud. Swim in a natural water. Rivers, waterfalls, the ocean, they're all very healing, cleansing, natural elements. And the third key is conscious eating. Your physical body is the vehicle that your soul uses to navigate this world. If that vehicle is clogged with low vibrational food, your ability to channel high vibration, it's limited. Processed foods they limitate you. Fast foods, refined sugar, junk food, excessive alcohol, even meat from animals that's been raised in suffering. In suffering, meat is good for you, but you have to be consciously aware of where your meat comes from and how that animal was treated. My Native American grandfather explained to me that they would hide and ambush the buffalo from behind to prevent fear from being the last thing that the animal felt, out of respect for the animal and because we are what we eat. That's powerful. Meat is a necessity for protein, for having strong muscles, even for our brain and for our blood. Red meat is important, but be conscious of where your meat comes from because we are what we eat. If you eat a lot of junk food, if you drink a lot of soda, that's what you are. You're just the junk food. Our body needs healthy fuel. If you think of our body like a car has to have oil changes, new filters, good gas that's not watered down and got crap in it. Think logically about what you put in your vehicle. Don't eat animals raised in suffering. All of these things carry low frequency. And when you consume it regularly, you literally feed your body density and unhealthiness. And I'm not saying you can never eat some sweet treat or junk food that you really love and really enjoy having. I'm just saying be conscious. Use true moderation. If you eat it daily, cut back to once a week. And do it because you want your vibration to be stronger and higher. You want your channel to be more open and available. And you want your vehicle to be more healthy and vibrant so that it lasts you a long, long time. And you'll notice how you feel after eating certain things. Your body's going to tell you what works and what doesn't. And I want to just speak on paying attention to bowel movements. Loose stool is your body's way of telling you that either you're eating the wrong things, consuming the wrong things in food or beverage, or in thought or information, because we also consume those things. And the gut speaks to us about what resonates properly and what doesn't. So pay attention to that. The Buddhists actually teach you that a healthy stool means a healthy mind, body, and spirit. The less you have to wipe after having a bowel movement is a great gauge for how healthy you truly are in your alignment of mind, body, and spirit. I know, strange subject, but true story. So pay attention to that. Listen to your body and increase your intake of living foods, fruits, vegetables, whole grains, nuts, seeds, pure water. These foods carry life force energy. They were nourished by the sun, the earth, the water. They have light in them. And when you consume them, you are literally eating light. The fourth key is conscious breathing. Well, we breathe automatically all the time, but conscious breathing is different. Conscious breathing moves energy. It clears blockages. It activates energy centers. It alters states of consciousness. And there are many techniques, but I'll give you a simple and very powerful one. The 4-7-8 breath. Inhale through your nose, counting to 4. Hold your breath, counting to 7. And then exhale through your mouth, counting to 8. And repeat this a few minutes. This breathing calms the nervous system. And breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth is the proper circulation. It takes you out of fight or flight mode and into a state of healing and regeneration. And when your nervous system is calm, you access higher states of consciousness. The fifth key, and this is one of my specialties, is working with your chakras. Chakras are energy centers that are in your body. When they are blocked or out of alignment, you can't access your full power. It's like having blocked that you can't drive down. Energy doesn't flow. You have 7 main chakras: the root, sacral, solar, heart, throat, third eye, and the crown. Each one governs different aspects of your life and your body. And each one can be activated and balanced through specific practices. Guided chakra meditations are great. You'll find thousands of those for free online. Yoga works directly with chakras, specific mantras for each chakra, corresponding crystals are tools that resonate with the chakras. And I offer a cleansing on my on my website, where I can cleanse them, open them, realign them, and get you started fresh. Another one that I am very proud to say that I've been very successful in helping people with is this 6th key, your mental reprogramming. You have to get that stuff out of your mind. Your mind has been programmed since you were a child with limiting beliefs, about what is and isn't possible, beliefs about who you are, beliefs about what you deserve. Beliefs create your reality. If you believe that you don't deserve abundance, you're unconsciously sabotaging any opportunity to thrive. If you believe that you're not good enough, you'll attract situations that confirm that belief. If you believe the world is dangerous, you'll live in constant fear. You need to identify your beliefs, question them, write affirmations in the present tense. I am powerful. I am worthy of abundance. I trust the guidance of the universe. I am capable of fulfilling my mission. Repeat them every day out loud with feeling, with conviction. Fully activating your spiritual power doesn't happen overnight. It is a process, it is a journey. But every small step that you take brings you closer. And that difference is someone who is living in their full power versus someone who isn't in consistency. So do these practices every day, even when you don't feel like it, even when it seems like nothing's happening. Keep going because something is happening. You are transforming on levels that you can't yet perceive. Trust it. And one day, sooner than you think, you'll look back and you won't even recognize who you used to be. You will have become so powerful, so aligned, so embodied in your truth that your entire life will be unrecognizable. This is your destiny. This is your potential. Now it's just a matter of you claiming what has always been yours to claim. My mind is calm. I am connected to spirit. Spirit flows through me. I will release all anger, grief, and guilt. I will take time to think and listen to myself and my guides. I will remain calm and centered, even through chaos. I will allow spirit to flow through and guide me. I will project positive energy to the universe and receive its gifts in turn. I will increase my powers of healing and perception. I will use these powers to benefit myself and others. I will open myself to love and prosperity and invite them in to my life because my mind is calm. I am connected to spirit. Spirit flows through me.